Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Akwa Ibom State. Welcome to Rise and Shine Saturday. It's throwback 1980. My name is Uyai, and it's so good to have you on the show today.
Real throwback 1980s. I mean, the moment I walked in and you walked in, I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this lady trying to achieve this morning? But it's a good thing, you just took my mind back to those days when we used to hear this bogus leg trousers.
Exactly. See the bongo of my trouser now.
Bogus leg trousers. I mean, okay, the fella kind of trousers
Yes.
that from the knee up is a bit tight, and then from this one down
It just
is
freeze.
very big and like, come on, I kind of miss those days. I
So
remember back in school.
that's why I'm re-engineering it for
I remember
you.
back in school, it used to be fun, oh, it's like it kind of recycles over time. The
Comes back.
fashion eventually recycles and brings them back, and then maybe a little bit of, subtractions and addition, and you still become something that is still trendy. It's amazing what, the art industry is being able to do on a daily basis.
It's good. I like that I brought nostalgia back. But yeah, this is Rise and Shine Saturday. And we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. On Rise and Shine Saturday, we bring you entertainment just back to back, all things that have been happening the world over. And the good thing is that Francis likes to bring amebo with it. So yeah, Francis is here. Francis is here to give the amebo, while I'm just here to give the gist.
So I'm the one with the amebo and you're the one with the gist.
Yes.
It's okay, no problem. But I mean, it was necessary for you to bring a portion of it back.
Well, it was like
it was necessary for you to bring it back.
It was communion akara. You know what communion akara is?
I don't know what
There
communion
was no
akara is.
pap to break down it, but it was fun. And I made sure I ate it like 2 minutes away from the office.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
that, yeah.
I forgive you.
Thank you, I'm
I
forgiven.
just don't want to be obsessed same place.
It's a small matter before the Lord.
It has to be that simple. So, well, a lot of things have happened in the entertainment space within the course of the week, and so many things. I'd like to know, of all the things that have happened, which one will you pick out? I mean, this week, a lot of things have happened, particularly for the female folks, and then from the music to the film industry and all of that. Story of the 1992 about what they call about women riot, which of course is the Ikorabasi, the Akwa Ibom women riot.
Yeah.
And that is something that I feel we can't have our mothers in days past spare leading a struggle and it's still called about women riot. So when I saw that story that Stephanie Linus is about shooting a story to bring back memories and remind us of how women were instrumental, outspoken enough or bold enough, brave enough to face the colonial masters. You saw women coming together to push forward what made queens, as princesses, as honors, warriors, and all of those before the colonization era that, just took that beautiful setting from us. It's crazy. It's just, I wish I had the magic wand to just, make a wish and the whole of the African continent will return back to how it was before then. I can literally tell you it would have had a lot more development.
I think I would absolutely agree with you because I believe there was a system that the African continent was run, by its monarchs that just everything was like the best way to have experience would have been in Yoruba, but like tap tap, do you understand? Like so, and I feel like trying to catch up with the Western world has made us draw back a little bit. Yes, and it's more like it's depicted as the about women right. But I remember that was last year or 2 years ago.
It was last year.
Last year that we had what's this play? What's the beautiful name of this play? But there is this particular guy that does beautiful plays around the country. He was in Akwa Ibom to do that particular play. The riot actually emanated from Ikotabasi. So it was more like the Ikotabasi women riot. But then there seemed to have been a form of amalgamation between the Eastern women and, the women of the South at that time. And, all of that for them to release this work. It's going to further get lost. because I'm very sure that when Stephanie Linus releases the movie, it's going to get like a broader spectrum, a larger audience of people, watching and paying attention to it. Yet again, it will still be told from the prison.
Myself, I'm guilty. I think we're not doing enough as media professionals from this side of the world to tell our stories. I think we're a little bit or a lot more laid back in telling our stories and giving the right narrative to things emanating or originating from here. I mean, I'd anticipated that maybe shortly after that play, somebody would make a publication that would be circulated across board, that will go viral on the internet, and people will get to know, oh, this was not an Aba riot, this was an Ikorobasi Akwa women riot. And if we had that fusion, and if we have to give credit to say, okay, Ikorobasi Aba women riot, and then
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
that's another nice way to put it.
so everybody gets to know that this was not just the Aba women. This was Ikorobasi from Akwa Ibom, and then the Aba women coming together to push up that very active activism, and that is something that we need to do. I sometimes wonder what the State Ministry of Culture does. I sometimes wonder what our storytellers from this side do. I wonder what all the creative directors in Akwa Ibom State are doing, because if we do not get to, it's just like the story of Cleopatra that raised us over the last week. Is the same thing. You want to tell the story, you have to tell the story right from its origin. You don't tell the story and then take out its origin, take out the complete setting and bring in a different setting. If you must tell that story, then let it be known that this story originated from these people, and hear us, and then do due diligence of doing proper investigation, probably coming down to Akwa Ibom State, get to correct the different aspect of that story that needs to be corrected before even putting it out there.
Yeah.
Because I know the likes of the mother of Saudo Odoma was very front
very
runner
front
in
runner
that
in
fight.
that particular
And
fight.
so we could have people like that coming up to, they have the
Give you
muscles.
background of the story. And some of the sites of where the war actually held are here in Akwa Ibom State. The particular there's a tunnel that the women had to go through and all of those things. They are here in the soil of Akwa Ibom. So it's just like, our historians, how well are they custodian the history of our people, and how well are we trying to pass it on to the next generation? Is it just that anybody that gets it can tell it? But then it's a big step by Stephanie Linus, but we do hope that it finds a way to represent the said. We need to get our facts and history right, so that we are not also, we don't get people aggrieved in the process of trying to tell their own stories, because in the future there's going to be some Akwa Ibom people who know this detail and they'll wake up to say, oh no, that story is ours, you cannot tell it a different way from the way we know it. And I think that that's very important. But moving on to another gist right now, congratulations to Stephanie Linus. Of course, she seems to have taken off herself from the screenplay to more back-end production and directing of movies. I think that's what she's done also in the last couple of years. I haven't seen that, in a lot of movies in recent times. So she's also doing a really great work. And she has also stayed to the path of things affecting the common day Nigerian, just beyond the other stories of love and all of the things that we write. So it's great kudos to her at this point. But moving on from that story, there was a big story that we brought to you last week, yeah? The Zeb Ejiro Domitila copyright issue. And I know we wanted to have a whole full conversation on this copyright infringement issue. But it's good to see that the tribunal has ruled in favor of Domitila. But then Njamenze, who was the lead character in the movie in 2020 now, went ahead to register the brand name Domitila, and then it was going to be causing a fire. But we see that so back into the story, Annie Njamenze's registration and application of Domitila as a trademark has been cancelled by the Trademark Tribunal in Abuja. The ruling, which was delivered by Chief Registrar Shaifu Adamu Yori, stated that all documents issued to her were done in error. This legal dispute in Jemanze, of course, this movie had featured the likes of veteran actresses Sandra Chums, Adame of blessed memory, Kate Henshaw, telling the story of a young woman struggling to survive as a a Lagos prostitute. But that was the situation there. But it's good to see that the tribunal sitting in Lagos has actually ruled in favor of Zeb Ejiro at this time. And then we need to be careful as creators and creatives. Trademark your work and make sure you get the necessary copyright laws to back up your work, so that someone doesn't just wake up and lay claim on it. Because sometimes you hear that someone is doing a small scale business today and another person taps into the idea that this business might become big tomorrow, goes ahead of you and registers the name of your business before you now come to get around it. You have the influence of the brand name, but another person has the registration. All of those kinds of things happen. So we need to be more careful with our creative works.
Well, I had said last week when we started talking about this that I'm hoping that the legal system, the tribunal, will get to give all of the things that needs to be given back to the original content creator, the one who conceptualized the idea. Because it's crazy when people think they can outplay, outsmart, or be faster than the next person. They call it being smart, but I don't see anything being smart in that. I mean, you did not toil. You have no idea how much this person toiled to even come up with this idea. You don't even know if this is the one idea God entrusted to push this person to wherever he or she is supposed to be. And then you just jump from somewhere because you've seen the potential. You just jump at and go ahead and register it. Now it's happening on a daily basis on the entertainment space. I recall way back 2005 when I started out NTA Fan Club with you then. We used to on a daily basis, when you come, you'll be asked to sing your song. Okay, what song have you written within the week, or what play did you write? And then at some point we get to while singing, and then I didn't know that while we were there were persons. So they record with their phone and then head back to the studio and have a producer say, oh, this is my song, this is what I want to work in. So one day I was invited to a musical video shoot by a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend to the person.
My cousin's sister, brother.
So I got to the music video location and, they were just doing rehearsals. The sound was good. So I got carried by the sound. And then something just struck me in the chorus of the song. I'm like, no, I know that song. That's my song. And then I had to listen again. Luckily, he captured the lyrics of the chorus exactly the way it is. He picked the hook the way it is. He picked the first verse the way it was, and then did something with the second verse. And I had to ask for who had the song. And then when he came forward and discovered I was the one, he was like, guy, saying I hustle. I'm like, hello, I'm a starter. You're a starter. If you have the money while I didn't have the money, why don't you tell me, bros, I like this your song, can we collaborate and work on it? I have the means to have us produce the song. Why steal my song? So it's happening on a daily basis. And that taught me a better lesson, that if you have original ideas, you don't just put it out in public for people to see. You get to do the needful background registration, trademark it, register it, have it, one way or the other tied legally to your name and to your brand, so that if anybody wakes up and then takes it away from you, the person will have to pay you serious money for it. And I'm happy that, Izzy has gotten justice for this. And that would teach a lot of other persons who think they are smarter to do due diligence and not try to outplay somebody.
I don't think that was there a fine that was placed on Anne Njeman's age. There should have been like a fine. Pay a couple of millions here and there, so that next time you don't attempt to be smart.
Well, I read through the ruling of the judge. I haven't seen any fine.
Yeah, I didn't see any kind of fine. That's what I'm saying. Like,
maybe they just say, you know what? Probably maybe because he hasn't made any money, or because of the brand. All of those things would now go to the rightful owner.
Please,
so
please.
That's the beauty of the judgment.
It is very, very important. But congratulations to Zeb Ejiro, and we do hope that this does not create like further rift in the Nollywood industry. Let everybody be advised and do accordingly. Don't try to steal your brother's show and your brother's. I mean, it's a lot of creative work for someone to have created something, done part 1, part 2, now came and did a revised edition in this present day 2023 that people are producing. But moving on, Nigerian titles coming to Netflix this May. I have to allow you to. I have to allow you
I
to.
knew. You were gonna.
You have
give
to
me
bask
that.
in
And
this
I was
one.
actually waiting for
I
it.
like when someone asks me, there was a movie you were talking about on your show. Can you remind me? Do you have it? No, I don't. Go to the cinema. Download that app they use in watching the movie. I don't have it,
Okay.
But yeah,
But seriously,
movies.
it's funny. It's hilarious sometimes when you get those questions. But sometimes we do have
And
the
I didn't
movies.
see. I didn't sometimes I didn't even bother to watch the
No,
movies.
sometimes we do have the movies.
Yeah.
But here is, storage on the phones is something else. So that definitely just watch and you delete. You keep downloading and watching and deleting, and that's just the reality of it. But here's the thing: Nigerian movie makers, Nigerian creatives are doing big things in the industry, and they're taking Nigeria brand higher and higher. And so this month of May, we have brought to you, or we are bringing to you 4 Nigerian titles that are coming to Netflix this
It's May 6th.
May 6th rather. That started came on Netflix yesterday as of May 5. Now AY is a comedian, writer, and filmmaker, as we already know, and is taking his comedy to the streamer after over 15 years of being in the comedy business. I mean, literally everybody enjoys AY's show. I recall all the fuss they made with the Wakanda show, the edition, the Wakanda Nigerian scene that is making it to Netflix, also starting yesterday, was The Order of Things. In his directorial debut, Sydney, that is Dr. Sid S. Siri, tells an exciting story of love, growth, and self-discovery with a gamer personality in the lead role. I mean, of course, the cast includes Obi Madwubuna, Timinie Busum, Binta Ayo, Magaji, Latif. These amazing persons are stars on The Order of Things, and that's a movie you should look out for.
And it's going to get into the
Netflix.
cinemas June 10.
Yes, it's going to get there on June 10th. Now, this one, Teetotaler. This used to be a tongue twister word we use back those days. And you'll be asked.
I'm just seeing it too. No idea what you're talking about.
The way people used to bleed because of these words.
Teetotaler.
Yeah,
Teetotaler.
and you have to say it very fast. Teetotaler, teetotaler, teetotaler.
Like tongue twisters. Okay, yeah.
The things we used to do, but it used to be fun.
Teetotaler. Ah, shit! I shut it. Okay, your turn.
Okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Teetotaler.
You got it wrong on the first move. You got it wrong because you did like Tito. That's like wrong. So no. so on the 12th of May, and it's the Film One production exploring various issues from profiling and bleaching to famous personalities. Bleaching is now an epidemic issue in Nigeria. Yes, I remember that a couple of months back now, NAFDAC had actually declared bleaching an epidemic in the country and said that a lot of measures was needed to be put in place to deter people from bleaching and all the like. So I mean, it's beautiful to see a movie that is capturing the the effects of bleaching on the Nigerian society, because the one that amazes me the most though is when I see dark guys bleaching to turn fair. I'm like, bros, you miss, if a lady is trying to bleach, we understand. Francis, a man, is bleaching from black to turn to Francis.
You're trying to understand the lady bleaching. I don't understand the need for bleaching, whether you are a guy or you are a lady. And the worst of it for me is mothers. The mothers that got entrusted innocent children to. That from day one, who told us?
It's something else.
It's something that we need complete attitudinal change. And I sit down and I imagine what these children will be going through. I imagine the dangers these children are being exposed to by mothers who should be the number one person to protect them. And all in the name of what? Oh, my baby is light skinned. Oh, the baby is so cute. Who says dark-skinned babies are not cute?
I mean, look how beautiful. I'm so beautiful. And I was born black. But as I've grown, I've become dark-skinned.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, this skin that God has given to us, there is every reason, absolutely every reason for you to feel comfortable with your skin.
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, it wasn't funny. I used to be called albino because
Mm-hmm.
it's not now that my hair is dark over consistent dyeing and all of those funny colors I used to have in my hair is no longer there. But growing up, I was like the laughing stock of my class and my neighborhood. I mean, you look at my eyes and it's like, oh my
Cat
goodness,
eyes.
cat's eye. And then you look at my hair and then you look at, I'm no longer, I mean, my brother would say life has happened to you. You've grown up. But if you had to see my pair going to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
But then, with age, I no longer care about what people say. I got to know this is me. But this is me. This is the skin that God has given to me.
Mm-hmm.
I might not have everybody feel comfortable with the skin that God has given to me or with the
Yeah.
features that God has given to me, but I
But it's
need
my
to be
responsibility to love
comfortable in it
myself.
because
Mm-hmm.
that is me. There is nothing in the whole wide world that's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Even that you're bleaching inside.
The dark skin is produced by a something chromosome called melanin. I mean, it's a composition deep down in your DNA. You work it out, and the one that amazes me is the people that have money that wash it with like lasers. They wash their God. I think we have sold a measure of fakeness in the society that is appalling. People all on our butt backs. It's unnecessary.
Let me add. While I was growing up, I just made a statement I have to retract. While I was growing up, people who used to bleach and then you look at their knuckles, they're like four different colors. You look at their knees, they're like different colors. You look at their eyebrows, they're different colors. Like people used to nickname them after the Coca-Cola brands, and I have to take that back because it's not professional. But then the fun bleaching brings, you still find these people being comfortable. And I ask myself, how are you comfortable that from here to here it's a different
like,
color? From here to here, another color. Then from here to here, there are
pink
mixtures of different colors. And then you're telling yourself, I am beautiful.
Yeah.
How does that sit?
And then don't even forget that those things can predispose your skin to cancer. The fact that if as you also age, it continues to affect your skin. If you were to have a surgery, it's going to be difficult stitching your skin back together. There's just a whole lot of reasons why you should not be bleaching. It's just unwise. You are ill-advised. You are suffering from low self-esteem, and you need to get comfortable in your skin. That place,
brought us to
Tito,
that. And it's
Tito
a beautiful
Teller.
theme to work with. It's a beautiful
Tito
thing.
Teller.
I just hope that all of us get to feel comfortable. You just need to know that there are no two ways about it. God has a reason for giving each and every one of us the skin composition that we have. And even those who have light skin, there are different shades of light skin. Those who have dark skin, there are different shades, different kinds of dark skin. You can have a dark skin that is glossy. The next person has a dark skin that is just
It's
dead.
like chocolate, like
chocolate,
ebony, like.
So it's beautiful that varieties in our skin.
What would you call my brown?
I say chocolate.
Like chocolate brown skin guy. Hold on now. I know. No, this is Yoruba.
But Yoruba sounds sometimes like horror.
No, this is going to sound like ile or wo.
Ile or
I just got it.
Okay. Now, let me shock you. The word ndoko in Akwa Ibom.
What does ndoko mean?
Mbopo, the beautiful maiden and all of that.
What's the one for the male?
There is also
wait, ndoko is for the male.
Leave that one. We'll go for that one another time. But in Yoruba language, there is also a word known as ndoko. But theirs is pronounced ndoko.
Ndoko.
While ours is ndoko.
Okay, well, this one is actually ile or wo.
Okay.
Not
Owo,
ile.
like the Owo festival.
Yes, the ile or wo. Not that one you're saying, because that one sounds like something from your village.
Is your case.
So of course, that real light has released a Nigerian horror romance flick following a young nurse who is unlucky in love until she meets the perfect man, a handsome billionaire, only to learn that his family harbors some deep, dark secrets. May our perfections not be the end of all.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so I can imagine what that story is already going to be like.
No, it's gonna be.
But I mean,
It's.
like Nigerian horror romance is. I think I watched. Have I watched? I think I watched the
I think. I
Nigerian.
think. I think. I've done a Nigerian horror romance before, but I've forgotten that name has escaped me because I just skimmed through it and
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't sit down and start the film. I think I stumbled into somebody watching it. It's about this family that had this kind of tradition that when they marry a woman in,
Mm.
she has to have intimate knowledge with all the men and the women in the family, and that
God
was like,
forbid.
and that was like, and so this young woman
Somebody
was
say God
married
forbid.
of the husband
Finding out
or the
secret.
father of the bride, in terms of if it's the guy that's bringing a woman inside. It's like a whole homosexual thing. It's like a whole lesbian thing, like everybody having their turn on.
Mm.
And I'm
So
like,
let's stay there a little bit on that conversation now, but tilting it to making findings about an intended. Say someone is maritally, someone is showing marital interest in you. To what extent are you going to go to digging on the person's background, on the person's family to be able to find out, what you need to know before you commit to a person?
well, I always would say God's guidance to discern past what the next person is saying.
Hmm.
Two, we are not honest enough to open up to the next person. I know that there's some level of secrets that you shouldn't expose immediately,
Yeah.
or that it should be exposed in
As
batches
the
as the
relationship
relationship
evolves.
deepens and evolves. But when you are certain that it has gotten to the point you're going to cross over to being married, and you know there is something in your past you haven't shared that might come back, or whether or not it might come back, it's not even your right to decide whether that thing is worth sharing or not sharing. The other person has the right to be told everything from your past, your present, and what your future would look like. So
Mm.
the person is prepared for it. So the problem comes down to the insincerity of all of us, men and women. It comes back to us not even being careful enough to ask the kinds of questions we should ask. People spend time courting, spend time during 1 to 3 years without knowing each other's genotype,
Ha. That's
and they
massive.
will wake up 4 years later when they want to now go into the serious matter, and they're like, "Oh, our genotype doesn't match," and
Hmm.
that's when people will begin to say, "We must marry after 4 years,"
Mm.
without looking at the implication. But these are things that you should literally have at your fingertips from the hi hello. If you know that your intent for this person is get to share this thing, so the person already knows. Okay, blood group, genotype, the basic medicals, we're compatible, so we're good to go. Outside of that, other information. What has been your past like? And just within the course of the conversation, just yesterday, I got wind of a friend's marriage that is about collapsing. And what was the reason? The guy had a son. The lady had two children. Neither of them
Told each
exposed to
other.
each other
That's
that
why
they
they should
had
be married
children.
to each other. No, but look at the
Now,
situation. That is why they both need to be
the
married to each
guy,
other. It's a matter of
the
calling
guy
man.
discovered.
Marriage
Here's
must
the
not
twist:
scatter.
the guy discovered first the woman he's been married to for 3 years has two children. Meanwhile, the new marriage they don't have any issue
Children
together.
together.
So, and then it didn't seem to bother the lady, but it bothered the guy because he has a son, and obviously he needs girl. You know why you don't bother about this too much is that you have a son who is an heir, and he's not me. So if anything happens to you, and I don't have any entitlement unless I'm lucky enough, and that was it. And then I asked, why do we get to put ourselves through all of this when it can easily be resolved? I mean, gone are the days when people say, once you're a single mother, nobody marries you. When you're a single dad, nobody marries you. It's all goes down to the individual.
That's a far cry from the truth.
It goes down to the
And then you just need
individual.
to accept that whoever doesn't want to marry a single parent might as well walk. There are no hard cries in this life.
We have to be inquisitive. I saw a post from one of my very senior police friend yesterday. She said, people, okay, partners who intend to marry and cannot have access to each other's phone have no business being married. And then somebody went under that post and said, partners who are married and are still passwording their phones against each other do not deserve to be together. And then that took my mind to a content I saw just within the course of the week. A husband just walked into the kitchen and was like, honey, can I have your phone? And the wife was like, yeah, we're married. We're one. The husband said, okay, can I go into your Facebook account? He said, oh yeah, what's that? We're married. It's yours as well. Okay, can I go into your WhatsApp? The wife was like, oh come on, honey. I'm you, you're me. There's no secrecy. And then the husband say, what about your so account? And the wife just slumped. And then I'm like, okay, that means every other account was clean. There was no, funny conversations or
You
relationships
now
things
push it to
going.
an app that no one look at.
Exactly.
There's an account that no one look at. No one
And
knows.
unfortunately, the husband knows these places. So,
Uh-uh.
and I'm like, oh god, but we could save ourselves all of this.
Mm.
And to be honest, I think people have underplayed the value of. So people don't really care about the values, about the etiquettes, about the expectations, the sanctity that needs to be protected, the sacredness. And so people can do anything and feel, oh, it's just okay for me to do it. Still on the heels of this, on Facebook, the Aquabum community Facebook literally was a watch with a lot of comment this week. And what
Mm.
was it about? A young woman about to be married. This May, your marriage is fixed for 25th and 27th. And you're taking your marriage invitation card to your ex-boyfriend,
To invite him
to his house, and you open your mouth and agree that you're still single with a marriage date set, everything done. And you say, now that you're still single, let's get to talk. And one thing led to the other. You ended up sleeping there. And one thing led to the other. You guys fire up again. So your husband to be, unknown to you, had access to your socials and was following your conversations. And then you move away. 1 month, a few days, the guy waited to know where you were the night your phones were off, which was an unusual thing. And then you came back the next day, you didn't give him an explanation. He waited for a few days to tell you where you were and what you have done. And then the conversations you've had with this person after that period.
Well,
And now you're coming to the social media to ask for advice and help. And you've called your husband to be over 800 times. He's not taking your calls.
advice you dear.
The young man stood there,
Advice you dear.
call her parents, call his parents, told them the marriage is
Of
called
course,
off.
if you really loved your ex that much, you should have
You should have.
groom. Thank his God. It happened before the wedding. Okwaya, you are fine. Don't worry. You didn't have to deal with a cheating spouse inside your marriage. So I think that's cool. But moving on, we're talking entertainment, just lots of things happening. Transparency is the crux of relationships. Stop hiding what you are and what you have. If you tell them and they do not want, allow them to walk. The next person that comes will say yes. But then,
Okay, so another thing that actually got me within the
Okay.
course of the week was the Chosen Show, which of course is one show, one series I follow. I mean, about the story of Jesus and the different things I think. So getting to know that Nigerian Ayolola has joined was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna see a Nigerian, being part of this big story that I love so much. And it's usually very intense. Like you can literally feel the spirit around the time of Jesus Christ. I don't know how to do it, but it keeps you glued to your set 24/7. You just want to finish every series of that production before you step onto the next thing. So congratulations to Ayola, and I'm hoping and trusting that it's gonna be another bumper once the series is out. But then another thing, just briefly before we pick a pause. So AY, having gone to Netflix with the comedy, has come back to announce to us that
Merry Men Part 3.
Men
That's part 3, yeah?
Yeah, there's gonna be part 3, I think. Yeah, part 3. But the first part, then the second part, there should be part 3, is gonna be that. And I'm like, yo, people,
I
I
like the fact that it's a franchise and new people have been introduced into it. The likes of Uncle Sam, Dede, it's gonna be
Oh
him,
my!
that
And you can imagine.
and like the movie is like somewhat an action kind of movie. So imagine Sam Dede, who is like the face
The
of
face
action,
of action.
movie in Nigeria.
It's gonna be
I
like,
think seeing the way the movie is watch it, I know that Merry Men Part 2 was highly criticized for not necessarily like hitting the spot for some quarters. So let's see how they evolve and develop the story for Part 3. But AY Ayomakun is saying that Merry Men Part 3 is about to hit the screens again. So yo, followers, get ready to have this particular movie back again on your screen. But that's how much we have been talking already. You know that once we talk, we like to dance. Dance is a part of Rise and Shine Saturday. So right now we go on a quick music break, and when we return, we have more conversation, great interviews, great guests waiting to join us on the show this morning. Stay with us, don't go away.
I know sometimes you be like say nobody send you. That's when I pray for you, my friend.
These powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord.
Legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally speaking, join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Issues affecting the common Nigerian.
From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security,
Education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the...
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in course of time.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. Education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyekan
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Glad to welcome you back. If you just joined us, this is Rise and Shine, and we like to add Saturday. It's where you get all the fun just from around the world as far as the entertainment industry is concerned. And of course, you know, myself, entertainment. And I had to stress that beautiful dark skin because of the bleaching scenario we had earlier on the show. Because it's very important you feel comfortable in your skin. She's beautiful. I mean, I literally adore this partner of mine on set. Like, I literally adore her.
I'm so.
Okay. You didn't expect that.
You're still choking me.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I
know they were trying so hard not to reveal our guest. Oh yeah, reveal our guest so that we can go back and laugh.
Okay, so joining us on set for the first time live on Spectrum TV is a veteran actor and of course a creative director. Is a lot of things as far as the movie industry is concerned. Join us and make welcome for the first time live on Spectrum Television, Victor Thompson!
Thank you for coming. Good morning.
Okay, now you can go back to the live.
I know that Victor saw the way I died. I just checked. I'm like, who is he talking about? But yes, it feels good to be adored on TV. I mean, such a dancer.
Yeah, you are. You definitely deserve that.
Okay, but let's talk entertainment. Good to have you here, Victor Thompson, veteran actor.
Thank you so much.
Nollywood is quite a space, and it's continually evolving and changing into a space that we now appreciate more because of the diversity that we see, not even forgetting the fact that they are able to churn in a lot.
Movie industry. I've been in and out. First and foremost, my first ground of operation is dance. Yes, dance. At the moment, I'm the national president of Dance Guild of Nigeria, or what used to call the number called Guild of Nigerian Dance Practitioners. I'm the national president, and somehow you agree with me that there's a very strong connect between a dance and the movie. Because I was asking some group of friends, I think 2 weeks ago, I said, why are we not having dance movies in Nollywood? And people, I'm strongly involved in the dance sector, and also the secretary of Nigerian Film Festivals Association. We will have all the Nollywood festivals coming together so we can begin to plan and how to have very formidable festivals. I've been around from 2020, doing some things on that aspect. Basically, in the film I've been on since I've been involved as a young actor, getting involved in drama, and all of that, and then pulling it out and getting to the academics, and also working things out from University of Calabar, then Lagos State University, and back now in University of Rio. So I've been around from 2002.
Okay. Oh, I like the talk about dance movies and in the Nollywood industry. But when you're talking dance, is it going to be another attempt to interpret the Western genre of how things are done, or are you looking at the interpretation of our traditional cultural dances in movies, what they stand to represent?
Of course, our traditional dances. Our traditional dances is even what we call the African contemporary dance. Where we look at the African dance, our traditional dances. What people will say cultural dances, they will say there's nothing like cultural dances because every dance is cultural. So our traditional dances are ethnic dances, and we'll see how we can contemporize it, and so that you have traditional dances, those very ethnic dances, but down dealing with very contemporary issues. So it's possible.
So it's really possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little bit excited, but at the same time curious.
Okay.
Our dancing storm the yard, the likes of High School Musicals that brings up all of those dance that we see. Is that something that your brand, your organization is looking towards achieving in the nearest possible future?
Yes, very well. Because you see, dance is very deep. despite the fact that
Rather, can everybody dance professionally? Because there is a difference between moving your body and dancing.
You brought in a clause now professionally, because everybody can dance. I mean, as a dance teacher, I will tell you there's difference between dance or a dancer and a dance artist. Everybody is a dancer. You know, just play a piece of music, jump up and begin to dance.
We can all move our body.
You move your body, so one big. You just do it and all of that. You are a dancer. You are a dance artist. You can cross over from being a dancer to a dance artist. To be a dance artist, you must have the analytical intelligence of the art. You must be able to interpret dance. You must be able to tell a story with dance. A story that will have a beginning, a middle, and a contrived end. You can translate and transliterate using dance as a medium. So all of this put together could be one of the reasons why for now, or up till now, we cannot have a very tangible, a very formidable dance movie. But the deal is looking at that very strongly. It's time now we'll come up with a powerful dance experience in the movie experience. As it were.
Wow. I like the sound of this, and I like that, you know, when we usually would have like discussions around the industry, sometimes it's tailored to one thing. So I like that this, you know, has another brand. But you're talking about sometimes, you know, every music video that comes out has a dance, you know, to it that becomes trendy and everybody just hops on it. Do you think that we can use, you know, a dance in contemporary Nigeria to drive home a point or even set agenda for the young generation?
Of course, it's very possible. Dance is a language. So you have to study. When you study and understand the language, you can say anything you want to say. We're speaking English now because you studied, you know, English language. So you can say anything you want to say in English. So dance is a language. You can say what you want to say, from politics to economy to education to health. You can say whatever you want to say using dance. It depends on your prowess in understanding the details of dance.
Okay, so still talking Nollywood and in the years that you've been, how do you feel about how well it has evolved? I know in the next couple of days we're going to be having the AMVCAs. What do you feel about how the industry has evolved in the past few years? Do you see you know, the industry getting better at where we are? Just like you said, prior to this time, you're asking a question: why is it that we do not have Nollywood dance movies? Just like in the last year, we've seen a lot of like gangster movies come out of the industry. So it's more like, you know, Nollywood is beginning to carve a niche for themselves, doing things in the society. So what would you say about how far and how well Nollywood has evolved as an industry?
The evolution is tremendous. It's the power of international correlation. We've been attending festivals, film festivals over the years. Personally, I've been attending film festival over the years, and one of the things that happen when you attend film festivals is not just the screening of movies and then the catching up, as it were, but there's what we call the co-production sessions, where producers and directors from one client, from one country, will interface with another country. So we have a situation where Nigerian film producers and directors have been interfacing with film producers and directors from different parts of the world, from Italy, from US. Issue of coming to do productions together. So we will come with our technology, we will come with our style, we will come with all the things that we're coming with. Now we'll deal with their own story in Nigeria. So that's happening now. We see in some of the productions we have now. So there's hope for our industry. Just I think 2 days ago, I was discussing with some group of young producers, and they said, "No, you Nigerian film, we are doing this." I said, "No, we can't be talking down Nollywood. You know, when you're talking African, American movies, American film industry, Hollywood." I said, Hollywood been around for years. What is celebrating now as Hollywood has been around for over 100 years. With all the sophistication of technology and all of that. So the Nollywood is not doing bad at all. Yes, one of the things I love about Nollywood is the fact that we are very busy.
Okay.
Whether we are getting it right or not, we are busy. And that is one of the factors that you need to keep a very vibrant industry. And so in this business, we are beginning now to define focus. No, we shouldn't do this like this. We should do this. When we travel out and see what is happening, we come back and say, no, we can't be doing this. We should be doing this. We can't be telling stories, our stories like this. We should be doing this. We can't be telling stories. It's always about Babalawo and Ifa praise and all of that. So I will go out to Zimbabwe and people will refuse to shake my hands because they feel that I'm this. So, yes.
Always wearing something in our
hands.
hands.
Yes. No, Nigeria. No. Why?
Like everyone is a 419.
Why? Say because you come a country, no, juju, black power. Very embarrassing.
Okay, now that's the hilarious.
So we have to, reinvent our story, as it were, and our productions. Nollywood is moving. It's moving towards where it should be.
Okay, now talking about reinventing our stories. Just before you came on set, Stephanie Linus is about reenacting what the people call the Aba Women Riot, but what is actually the Korobasi
Women Riot.
And I'd like to know.
That's very. You see, when you tell stories, you can tell a particular story 100 times. It depends on the perspectives. Storytelling is what we call perspectives. The story from the Bible of the death of Christ, the crucifixion of Christ, has been done over from when I was a boy. You see different, perspectives. The story of about Women Riot, you put it right. It's called as Women Riot. Somebody like Chasu Pong is a very prolific playwright and dramatist. From here, Chasu Pong did a very good work on the stage play, and you call it Maudoma, and give it what it should be based on research over the years and all of that. And then it was to put up that production. I was to direct that production on stage, and we started approaching the people that we and government and all of that, but that production didn't see the light of the day because of politics. I wouldn't go into that because of politics. And when you discover that the story is about Maudoma, and Udodoma is, and I don't want to go into that here. And then we just so people can tell the story with different perspectives, but and you can affect that the people have on the minds of the public will depend on how you tell the story. They say, when you tell the story, and I said, no, I have to see the story.
Okay.
So research is very important. I will say that again.
Now, I'm particularly concerned, like you said, it's all about perspective, but should we not be worried about that? In the telling of the stories, the sacrifices of our own women are completely being left out most times.
So we are looking at it together now. So it's not justice has not been done to it, because if you when we these are the things that we should look into, and of course it's a matter of time.
Okay, now you mentioned an area you said you don't want to go to. We might not go into the way into it the way you don't want to go into, but let's talk about government's involvement in the entertainment sector, in the creative sector in Akwa Ibom State.
Creative sector, the government has been involved as long as we were able to pull them in. But I would like to say this very emphatically, that when we say the creative industry, we should not be looking at the government. Anywhere in the world, the creative industry is not left on the doorknob of the government. It's a sector that should drive itself to the point that the influences of the sector should pull in the government. So I'm not always comfortable when we say the creative industry, and the next thing we are looking at the government. The government is your industry for you. So it's weird. I tell young people, say they're looking for grant. The government should give us money to shoot films. I said there's nothing like that anywhere. Government will not give you money to shoot film, because if they give you money to shoot film, you must shoot film that will suit their interests. So government will not give you money to shoot film, but shoot your own movie and let it affect the government. Government will say, come. Why you say, well, we are doing our business. Okay, well, like, can you help us do this? That's when you begin to have, you know, a kind of interface with government that will better you a lot. So we should not wait on government. I will say that, I will say that again, I will say that again and again. We should not wait on government. We should be able to reinvent ourselves and be more creative and see it as a business. That's why it's called industry.
Makes a whole lot of sense. I think that's like the first time we are dealing with it from that angle, because then again we get to a point where we find out that a lot of us as people are entitled to the government. Like, it's more like the government needs to do this, the government needs to do that, the government needs to do this. But if we look at the entertainment industry in Nigeria, it generates its own income of its own accord, not necessarily by the backing of the government.
That's right.
We are talking, billions of naira, running into a lot of money. So we know that entertainment industry can, operate by itself and yet be successful. But let's also talk about networking within the industry, because when you're talking about the young people that are trying to rise up the ladder, some of them are great storytellers, but they do not have the platforms, neither do they have the funds to push their movies. What is networking like within Nollywood, and like lending a hand to the next generation to come up? Because we also see that we have a generation of people that are gradually being phased off because they're getting older on the scenes.
I will say this: the networking is not quite formidable as it should be, and that's why on my platform I keep talking to young people. You can't do it alone. They do it alone. Okay, it's a platform for young people, young creatives to interact, to be involved, and then we see how we pull in a whole lot of people from schools and to be part of the festivals, and we will have the platform to interact, run workshops and things like that. So we must look for a way, not the government, as we said, look for a way to train and retrain. Most of the young people you are talking about, they are moved by the glitterati of the film. And that's, I want to be in the film. We don't pay me. I want to be in the film. And so now they are in the film, and they don't take. I ask why? I have passion for it. And I tell young people, passion will not sustain it. You must see it from the business point of view. So, and for it to become a business, you must learn. You learn. And incidentally, most of our very young people don't want to learn. They want just to get into the location, in 2-3 locations, and they're a director. Get into 1 or 2-3 locations, and they are the lead actor, and they tell you we are the best. And I say, where you get this idea from? So the humility, the professional humility must be there. I'm talking to our young people now. The professional humility must be there for them to learn and to acquire the skills needed, and patience to develop to a point. So we need that, and begin to talk about let's integrate, let's get this done. Who are you in the sector? Who are you? What are you doing? You can't really define your calling, your professional calling, as it were, before we begin to talk about the business and all of that.
Still focusing on the younger generation, we know that for there to be continuity, the younger must come in to meet the older, and there must be that synergy and sharing of what the older generation have gathered over years with the incoming generation. So apart from that synergy, there's another thing that is required. World is lacking. Okay, so you've talked about funding. How does collaboration, having multiple people come together, help solve that problem?
Okay, so let me use my events, Uyo International Theatre and Film Festival. This year we're running the 6th edition. So this is what I do. And we don't have that million of naira to do publicity. So I say, please sir, just give us 3. Slots, consider a festival, that and all that. And he said, 3, no, take 5. No. If that's what I can offer, take 5. So we have taken care of that. And other aspects that will make the events possible. So as you're coming on board, so as you put in brands like that and experts So I'll talk to this expert. I'll talk to a colleague of mine. I say, no, I don't have money to pay you. Of course, I don't have money to pay you. So come in, we'll put you in a hotel and 2-3 days. Come and facilitate, an aspect of the festival. And I say, Victor, why not? I will come. So at the end, you sit down and say, how is he having this million? So no. What's the power and the energies of collaboration?
So relationship plays a key role
Absolutely.
in success story.
Absolutely. Your relationship, your PR, the way you're able to present your project or what you want to do to people matters a whole lot. Even the Bible says, write your vision.
Across everything, business, entertainment. So just one issue before we wrap this up. This morning, it's been a great time having conversation with you, especially that we are looking in through another prism that we've not quite looked into. But let's talk copyright infringements in the industry. This morning we talked about the fact that there was a rift between Zeb Ejiro and Zeb Ejiro's favor rather. But how often do we see these kinds of things happen in the industry, where one person has the writing, has the script and everything, but someone else goes ahead quickly? For instance, when you talk about the likes of Merry Men, now it was first of all a movie before it became a franchise. So imagine that someone had immediately after he had released part 1 of Merry Men went ahead to register and trademark the name what's the word? Merry Men. What exactly then would have happened? Is this a problem that is plaguing?
Back at what I tell people, when you have the thing leave your mind, when you have your creative work leave your mind to a page, it's done for the public and you must guard it. When it's in your mind, it's in your head, it's your own property. It's only you. But when it comes out of your head and come to the page, especially in the world of today, a page could be the page of your smartphone or anything. When it leaves your mind and come to register it. So say people scripts, or say people brand names and all of that, they are not doing that. They don't register it. And also go and register your products, your creations, whatever you pull out of your head. If you don't do that, it will be stolen.
No matter how small you think the brand is.
No sooner I'm beginning to put it on a piece of paper, the next thing is I'll call my corporate lawyer. I have to register it. So everything I do, my scripts, whatever I do, in case which I don't want to be involved in that matter. When we have such an agreement, we know how we go about it. So we know whether we have issue of greed, we can deal with on that aspect. Because it could be different sides to this. Greed could be done so that I've registered this thing, I've done all that I needed to do, and then you're coming.
You now have to pay me double the price.
Positioning, there's a place for pricing in the deployment of your creative. So it's not I want to act. So they give you a role, you act, and they give you some money, you are happy about the money. You ask question, what will happen 10 years later? Because 10 years later, when you remember what you were paid back then, what you were paid, and the kind of money the person involved, it's an agreement. So you must understand this. So when I'm doing something, for instance, I'm running my festival, and I invite NTA media invitation as a part of it, and it's okay, this and that. I say, okay, we agree. So after this, you can do 1 year broadcast rights and all of that. After 1 year, don't, or 2 years, after 2 years, don't. So we must agree on that. Not because say, you cover me, say we can say anyhow you like, just broadcast, just come. Caution.
So now that takes us to actually the processes of registering, because some persons in the creative industry are not even through into that. Somebody can learn from this.
No, I'm not a trademark expert. I'm not a copyright expert.
But how do you go about it?
I'm not a copyright. So you just go to the trademark, the registration. Let me think, even on your arm, you can click your buttons, and you second to the issue is that our people should learn the attitude into the industry. To be a player, you must understand the place of pricing. It's important. This whole madness kickstarts from pricing. Somebody shooting a movie, for instance. So you auditioned. After the audition, they said, I'm going to pay you this. You agree.
Yeah.
It's more than I'm going to pay you this. You collect the money, you finish the movie, and you go away. There are other things you ask. Some of the actors, for instance, some of the critics you don't even know. They're just interested in doing the movie or doing the production and getting the money.
Yeah.
Just get the money, the cash, and go away. Then tomorrow you see your picture, you see your on billboard, you say,
As creatives, I think that's very important, because some of us, we just use our energy out there and then it's not priced. But I don't know if you have any more questions for him.
I think he's touched virtually everything we needed to ask him.
From a very different perspective.
I love from a different perspective.
A very different perspective.
So, but I liked for you to give up as looking up to the older generation and getting to have the humility to learn. All
right, for the older generation, it's very simple. Please don't tell me I'm a veteran. There's need for us to reinvent ourselves and reinvent. I've said that over and over again. You can't stay there. You've been a good actor. You've been a good producer. We go to the cinema. It's okay. You go to the cinema and sit down and watch movie. No. Nobody does that now. Somebody's driving one hand is opening, his smartphone and watching the movie. So you don't produce a movie, or you don't look for marketers anymore. We are going to market your movies. No. You are looking for marketers. Some young people are doing some small kits for 2 minutes, for 30 seconds, and they're making millions. And you're looking for a marketer. So you must understand the change, redefine, but define your focus and be involved. And I've said something about pricing is important.
Definitely. I like the landing.
All right, thank you so much, Victor Thompson. We appreciate you coming on Rise and Shine Saturday. It's been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. And I'm sure, just like we've seen different perspectives to the creative industry, that you have also seen that. But this is where we'll go on a short break. When we come back, Rise and Shine Saturday will continue. Please stay with us. Okay.
All right, go. Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of
an adversary proceeding.
It's not, my lord. This case is in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in course of conduct.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian.
From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security,
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.